This guest is known to cause defects to your dreams. The emotional talks are not to be taken to your heart. The content is under pressure and may be very hot and spicy for your taste. Avoid direct contact with judgment and your emotions. If rashes develop, discontinue. Do not attempt this at home. No professional designers were harmed after they read the script of the show. Substantial penalty for early withdrawal for the audience. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome everyone to the fourth episode of ADS. With an aim to bridge the gap between designers and engineers in our community, ADS.com has been a pioneer in its field. It has been quite a few stressful weeks for every single one of us. I'm your host Atharva Dahodre and we are here with a brand new episode for you. And boy, is this episode gonna be one of the special ones. With an aim for designeering, what rivalries can top the fight between a UX designer and a tech person? Yes, this fight is going to be an epic one, no doubt about it. But the fighters in our ring, they are the real deal. In one corner, we have Mr. Anil Reddy, the founder of Lollipop Design Studios. And in the other, we have the founder of Krypton Cloud Gaming, Mr. Leela Shankar, the two colossal giants in their respective fields. So before we get down to the episode, I request the speakers to take the oath and pledge their allegiance to the world of designeering.
Designeering is my passion,
All designers are my fraternity brothers and sisters.
and all the great designers and my friends present in the panel with me will get an equal opportunity to tell me
That my designs are as good as the art by primary students.
I want to take design seriously and defend thy honor.
When someone asks me for a free logo,
If someone asks me to clear bugs, I will admire them.
if someone notices my incomplete portfolio, I will not be offended tonight. I will not trace images to call myself a designer tonight.
I will not copy codes to call myself a programmer.
I will try to help people as much as I can, but not before getting a commission. Lastly, I pledge my allegiance to the world of designeering,
And hope to undertake the journey of self-realization.
that we design for the users and their opinion matters as much.
So now it's time for the first segment of the episode, the lightning talks, where we do not, discuss the success, but the path to it and the many hurdles and failures these champions have overcome and gone through. So without any further ado, I'd like to call upon the stage Mr. Anil Reddy, founder and CEO of Lollipop Design Studio. He is also its design director, and he has worked with companies like Ogilvy New Zealand, TBWA Tequila, again, and he has done digital campaigns for brands like Coca-Cola, Nestle, Adidas, Nissan, Visa, PlayStation, and many more. And I think you get the idea by now. So this journey wasn't as smooth as it may seem now, and the heights which we are seeing right now. But that's exactly what he'll be discussing with us now, and the hurdles and the failures which he has faced up till now. So Mr. Reddy, the stage is all yours.
Hey guys, I have a one-liner introduction about myself. I'm an artist by heart and designer by soul and entrepreneur by choice. So after 11 years in New Zealand working for one of the best design studios in the world, I came back to India with a big dream of putting India on map for design. So not many designers choose to become an entrepreneur because entrepreneur is so related to business and all the stuff. So in my initial days, I never wanted to become an entrepreneur. I always wanted to serve the best design studios out there and keep winning awards and keep designing for one of the best brands in the world. And that's what I always dreamt of. And when I came back in 2011, the very first thing was, what do I start and where do I start from? So after trying a couple of things, then I realized that I should start a service design studio. And my first project that I ever worked on was a super flop. This is the story I'm going to share today. So we designers are so spoiled with projects on table with a good brief and everything served to us, spoon fed to us, and now suddenly you're left there to go and fetch a client and go figure out yourself, and from making a proposal to then figuring out the cost to everything, then you need to figure everything out. My first thing was from a designer, I have to wear a different hat. That's a salesman hat, and I didn't know how to go about it. So I called my friend to find out what is that I should do to become a great salesperson. So next day was the meeting, and he said, "Dude, the clothes that you wear is wrong. You need to wear a formal attire. You have to be in a formal attire." So I went shopping. I bought a nice formal clothes. Then I thought that's how you got to present yourself. We designers, we still are really bad at dressing. I'm being very honest. We are really cool. We think that designers are supposed to dress up very cool. So I went in a formal, and before going there, I never had a company name. So I thought I should not present myself, but I should present a company. So that night I went on, I logged on to GoDaddy, then looked for nice domain names to name a company. Then I tried for Pixel this, Pixel that, Pixel Dreams, and all that stuff, and all the domains were taken. And then finally GoDaddy suggested, "This is the only domain available. Would you like to take it?" Then I booked the domain. So then I was preparing a story in my head about Pixie Tree. Pixie Tree is about pixel and tree because Bangalore is known as a garden city of India. Then I thought it'll be a great story to introduce. Then the day comes, I'm out there to go and meet the client. I was so excited. I was like this excited puppy in a coffee shop. So the client was sitting there, and I was like, I didn't know how to greet him. Like, we designers, we have never met client. We never had any formal meetings, right? For the last 11 years, I've only worked on projects and won awards. So the first time I'm going and meeting a client. So he was sitting there, and I went and shook hands, and I was like so excited. It was like a kid feeling, right? My palms were sweaty and almost had tears in my eyes. And then I greeted myself. Then to break the ice, I spoke about cricket, I spoke about weather, I spoke about food, but the client was not interested in any of those stuff. He wants to get straight to the project. Then we spoke about the project in length and breadth, and a huge introduction, and he was speaking in depth about the project and the experience, and I was like literally awed about it, and I was so fascinated. And finally everything comes down to the cost. I was new. I was missing in action for 11 years in India, and finally I didn't know how much to quote for a project, and I had no clue. So the Indians are like one of the best in the world when it comes to negotiating on cost. So the client got down to that, and this picture indicates like what he was thinking in terms of a project and what the budget he had. It was a big project. I thought it's going to be in few lakhs. Then I was very happy. Then I came back home. I told my wife, the first project is going to be like a big money, and it's a very big brief, from logo, identity, website to app, and all the stuff. And I think I strike a gold here, and it's going to be a big project. Then the client said, I have a budget of 15,000 rupees, and this is the budget I have, and you need to finish the project in this. Then I was heartbroken. 15,000 rupees for logo, identity, and all this stuff. And I'm here in India after 11 years, and I was shocked because my kid's diaper per month cost that kind of money. So 3 months, 15,000 rupees, even if you break it down, right, it doesn't even cover your travel and a coffee cost, because after every task I have to go and meet him in a coffee shop and present the concept to him. So it's fine. Now that I made a decision to come back and do something great here in India. So I almost started looking like this in this photo. I was literally going mad on the brief and the cost and the timelines. And it was my friends who suggested that you should quote 3 to 4 lakhs on the project. When I said the 3 to 4 lakhs budget, he said nothing doing, 15,000 work or leave. So I thought I'll take it up. So designer's nightmare. Your designs get rejected. I went through that. Every design I presented was rejected. Logo, I had 20 variants of logo that I presented. And finally, identity. Once the logo was chosen, there was an identity exercise. And I go into the depth of every design that I come up with. I go into the logic, the psychology, the strategy of it. So I presented. It was a fail. He rejected. Then again, I did another version. It was another fail. Then I did all the memes on internet, right, about the Photoshop version files. It is all true. I experienced it. I experienced in the past, but here I experience in my own company. Now coming to the client feedback, it was a nightmare. After 3 months, 15,000 rupees with a down payment of 5,000 rupees. And I finished the project, 120 screens I designed with the logo, identity, and countless versions of the design. And finally, the client was not happy about it. He thought I was one of the worst designers in the world. That's the kind of feedback he gave. The problem is, most of the people don't know how to criticize design. They do not give a constructive criticism. That's the real world. So we all have to get used to it. I was heartbroken after 3 months, and my wife at home was laughing at me, saying that, "Look, you're the same person back in New Zealand, you used to earn in few lakhs, now you are here, and what the last 3 months what you've made is not even the 15,000 because the client has paid only 6,000, and the remaining amount he was not willing to pay." So this is my failure story. The story ended there. I learned a beautiful lesson out of it, and today we are a team of 150 plus with 5 centers across the globe, and every failure will teach you something, and this is my story. Thank you.
Wow, looking back on your journey, I'd say the path to success and failure is pretty much the same, don't you think? But what differed in your case was pure persistence, which ultimately took you to the heights you are at today. What an inspirational journey this has been for you and for us as well. Thank you for this amazing segment, Mr. Reddy. And now it's time for our next speaker to take the spotlight, Mr. Leela Shankar, a hardcore gamer and a techie at heart who wants to share his passion and vision with all the gamers out there. Founder, CTO, and CEO of Krypton Cloud Gaming, he has also worked with DRDO, that is your Defense Research and Development Organization, and has gone through his fair share of hardships and a lot of obstacles. Let's welcome Mr. Leela Shankar on stage and observe his amazing journey through time.
Before we start about our journey, I would like to redefine failure for you, because the moment we say failure, right, it has an inbuilt judgment in it. I mean, the moment you say I failed, you just blame it everything on yourself, and it feels terrible for you or for any one of us. But instead of that, let's just replace failure with learning, because every failure is somewhere something we need to learn. Either it's because of you or it's because of some external factor. Failure is nothing but something which is not been in line with what you have thought when you have put in the effort previously. So curiosity, right? Everyone is curious, especially being children. Every child is very curious, and it's the same with me. I was very curious in my childhood. I was literally suffocated my parents and also my teachers asking questions of everything and anything. Why the sky is blue? Why there are 4 tires for a car? Why there are 60 minutes in an hour? Why there are 6 overs in a ball? Why is there a strange coincidence that 6 number repeats every time? Why it's 6 runs for every boundary? Why not 10 runs? All this kind of stuff. And obviously, I never got satisfactory answer being a child. But the thing is that we always need to ask why, right? As adults, we just take everything for granted, and our curiosity really goes down the drain. But I really want you to ask why, and why for each and everything, because asking why will free us from all the, social norms or all the norms that actually we follow. To be frank, we follow a lot of unsaid or unspoken rules in the world, psychologically, mentally, and on every level. If you really keep on asking why, and if you really can make a logical sense of the world in your own head, you can literally beat the rat race, and you can literally be above all the other people in your own life. So coming to my own journey, right, I literally one day I asked my father, what is the reason you're asking me to come first in the class? Because at that time I was getting quite a few A+ certificates in drawing and painting. I got awarded 2 gold medals and 1 silver medal in athletics. I got 1 first prize in acting and other first prize in stand-up comedy. So I was getting all these things in my school during from 5th class to 10th class. But at the same time, I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that why the hell people are asking me to get first in the class, because obviously I was not interested to get first in class at that age. I really couldn't exactly know what exactly success or failure to me is. But at the end of the day, after I passed out of my 10th, I really tried to go through IIT, because that's what my friends did. But I really couldn't get it. I just missed the cutoff by 2 marks. But I really didn't feel anything, because I really never wanted to be an IITian. I just went because my friends went there. So there came my second realization, where we need to define our own success. For me, getting into IIT wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a success nor a failure for me because I was really not interested. Of course, getting getting into IIT without any effort is a cool idea, but I was not ready to put in the effort as well. So always define your own success and failure for yourself, because it is different for different people. My friends got into IIT, they were successful. That doesn't mean I'm a failure right now. I'm successful in my own terms. Quitting the rat race and also having our own definition for success and failure. So right out of that, I joined engineering from a local college because I had no other option. I did MPC in my intermediate, math, physics and chemistry. So I decided to quit the rat race and join a local college, and then again I fell back into the trap of rat race I fell back into the trap, and now I decided to do an MS. Right in my first or second year, I decided to MS in Carnegie Mellon University, which is very famous for robotics. I decided I'll be a robotic engineer. But right then, in second year or third year, again I got a realization that there are lakhs and lakhs, not even lakhs, crores of people like me out there. But what they lack is a proper direction, a proper person or a proper organization to actually guide them in a proper way. So that's when I got the real realization and I quit the rat race. And then I really got the courage to face myself. What do I really want and what do I really don't want to do? And then I decided that I'm a guy where I really want to start my own things and guide my own way, carve my own path. And then I sat down and thought for 2 to 3 months. It took a lot of courage to exactly know what exactly I'm made up of, my thoughts, what exactly I want, and then I decided I need to do a startup. At that time I didn't have any clarity of what should I start up with, but I just decided that I'll just start some kind of startup in my second or third year. This was in 2014 and 2015. And from that time I started learning everything about startups. I got to know about Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, all the famous stories. And that's when I started learning more and more about startup. Being an engineering student, I was reading economic books. And on one side, when my friends were preparing how to crack interviews, I was reading about how to take interviews. That was the difference between me and my friends. That's what at that time in my third and fourth year. So and that time I was also learning a lot of other stuff as well. I actually thought of starting a YouTube channel. And regarding that, I learned Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, and every other stuff out there. But I couldn't do it due to various other personal reasons. And during my fourth year, right after I quit, I'm done with my engineering, I really gathered a lot of weight. I mean, I was feeling lethargic. I was very fat at that point of time, and I joined a gaming company because I thought joining a gaming company before joining a gaming startup would be beneficial, obviously. But at that time I was very fat and I was feeling very lethargic physically. So I started to exercise and doing yoga and meditation, a lot of stuff. So during a course of 4 to 5 months, I literally lost 15.6 kgs, and I was like, I was normally like this shape, and that really helped me a lot and then my third realization, a third learning came. That is, everything is interconnected in this world. Right from the side, you're saying smiling. Even there's so many scientific studies, right? The moment you smile, even though if you're not happy, the smile on your face will trigger oxytocin in your brain. There's so many studies. So I was into this kind of health also. So after my after my BTech, I joined a gaming company called Gamopedia, and during that phase I had my own path in my health as well. As I already told you, I was fat, so I started exercising, I started getting into health and everything. I reduced my size, and after that I quit that and I started this company called Krypton Cloud Gaming, and here I am. So yeah.
Amazing pointers from Mr. Leela Shankar. Absolute gold for every single one of us, I'd say. Very few times such individuals rise up to face difficulties and persevere through it to achieve new heights. I'm pretty sure you all have gotten a glimpse of what kind of journeys lie ahead of you as well. And now it's time to spice up this episode with our famous gristing segment. And I hope you all are ready with your ice packs and your popcorn, because this is going to get quite toasty. So let the gristing commence.
When you stop at the signal, do you know signal lights are red, green, and yellow? Do you identify those colors? Because I feel the Greek world only knows black and white. So do you know that you are supposed to stop at green or stop at red and move at green? Do you know about it?
Yeah, they will just be, analyzing it in hex codes and stuff like FFF, GGG, FFF123, like something like that. They won't be actually analyzing it as like red, green, and blue, or red, yellow, and green.
Do you believe in magic or everything is logical?
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty tough question for them, if magic exists or if it's all just logical and binary.
Our software engineers are the same people who get picked up early morning by your company bus and you wear your tag, sit inside, then you get dropped off at your office, and again they pick you back in the evening and drop you back at home. What is this all about, man?
Yeah, that's their 9 to 5 wali zindagi, and that's something which they dreamt of earlier, but this is not how they actually imagined it working out. So it's just that हाँ पहले अटैक बैठ गया गाड़ी में जाके काम किया वापस आ गया kind of thing going on.
Do you also wear tag and go to sleep in the night?
Yeah, right.
I won't be surprised to see that. So that tag has become your Mangal Sutra, right?
Oh yes, that's a really interesting analogy. Yes.
Sad man, sad life. Your life is all about fixing bugs in the morning and drinking pegs in the evening. God bless.
Oh my God, pegs, bugs, and then the semicolons in their codes. They are just constantly ratting so much about those semicolons. I can swear they literally just exist to remove or add those particular semicolons in their whole code.
So I see you're meeting every single day talking about the same application, same code. And end of the day, I still don't get to see anything. So what's the purpose of the meeting every day? Every day we brainstorm about नया कुछ करना है. What is नया कुछ करना है in your life?
Yeah, I guess it's just trying out new tags for them. They're just trying out new softwares, new email IDs for, Netflix and all of those things.
Is it
That's
नया कुछ
about it.
करना है
That's
means
all
is
the new
it
things in their life.
moving the laptop in a new direction or sitting in a different position on your chair? Is that नया कुछ करना है?
They leave no part unturned. That is the one product which they utilize to its fullest. I think so.
Let me say this. So when a client has a budget, okay, why is it 90% spent on development, that's coding, and 10% spent on design, that is so visible? And
again,
the 10% client comes to us designers asking to create some unique. And with the 90% of the budget, with the 90% of the budget, you guys are using the same code, writing the same line. It's very unfair. Sometimes it's so surprising to see that it's like cookies from factories, right? So all cookies stay same, look same, so perfectly die cut. So it feels like even this profession is becoming very similar. Everyone comes with a standard amount of knowledge and nothing goes beyond that. There's a saying in Bangalore that when you throw a stone up in the air, it either falls on a biryani shop, on an engineer, or a stray dog. That's the amount of engineers that we have here in Bangalore.
Oh my God, that was sensational. I can hear all the oohs and the ahs from the tech people here today. Those were some serious burns, you guys. In the spirit of designeering, you have held out pretty well. Kudos. But yeah, you got burned. An amazing grist from the UX writer, Mr. Anil Reddy. But, it is time for our next item from the tech community, Mr. Leela Shankar. I know for a fact that he will be defending the honor of tech with all his might. So UX people, I'd suggest you get your share of ice packs as well, because this is going to get brutal.
Sorry in advance, guys, if it really hurts. Just kidding. No need to worry. So, designers, UX designers, or whatever you may call it. I know you liked MS Paint as a child, but can that really be a career? Think twice. I mean, all you do is working on a sophisticated MS Paint application, right? whether it's Photoshop, Adobe XD, or whatever the tool you're using right now. But it's okay. It's okay to learn new tools. But for how many years, dude? I literally learned Photoshop in 30 minutes seeing a YouTube video, and you guys, you're doing it 4 years to learn that? Really? I mean, but credit where credit is due. All the lines, all the shapes, all the colors, everything are really, really perfect when you actually design something. But you know why? Because it's done by a computer. You don't have any talent, my friend. Everything is done by a computer. A real artist will do an art with his own hands, with his own body, right? In spite of this, studying all these years, all you do is what? You know what? After all these courses and everything, all you do is nothing but editing your photos, your friends' photos for Instagram post or WhatsApp DPs. That's what you do after doing up this course. And sorry to break it to you, editing an image on Canva or Trello doesn't make you a designer, my friend. Even a baby can do it. Even a baby can edit on Canva or Trello. So don't call yourself a designer just by editing a few text or changing a few colors on pre-built templates on Canva.
I don't think so.
And even AI, right? Even AI can do better templates and better design than you people can do. So I don't know what you guys are doing right now. And also, I always hear that for my designer friends, you need a creative mood. You need to get in the flow. I mean, really, just sit in front of computer and just play with the keyboard or play with the mouse, dude. I mean, I really don't know why you want to get in the flow. Do you download your creativity from the top, from the universe? Does it have a specific time to download all the creativity from the universe? Come on. Even after all that, all you do is changing a few colors and changing a few buttons, and you call it a redesign of a website. I mean, changing the color of a radio button from green to blue and changing a rectangle button into a slightly curved button doesn't make it a redesign, my friend. Please. And also, UX generally has 4 stages, right? Research, design, prototyping, testing. Research is first one, right? User research, getting to know about the user, how he exactly uses a website or an app, and then accordingly designing it. But you know what you guys will do in the name of research? You just go on Google and you just search for someone else's design, right? In the name of research, you search Google for someone other people's design to copy. To take inspiration from. You people don't copy, you just take inspiration from other people's design. And you know what? In the designing part,
Oh my
go and search
God.
for free HTML templates, free CSS templates online. Not even paid, free one. I mean, you people not even paying your own people, right? You're not supporting your own community, man. At least pay the price for the paid template and just edit it, right? No. You just go on Google, search for free templates, or screenshot or take the screenshots or everything of the templates, and then come back and do a carbon copy of it. But obviously you'll change the colors, and obviously you'll change the button layouts, obviously. But wait, you're doing 4 years of design engineering, right? You might know about color psychology. What does orange say? What does blue say? Each and every color has a different psychology, and the user has different emotions as soon as he sees different colors, right? No? I mean, obviously you're gonna color whatever your mood is on that day, right? Or you're gonna color whatever it is that looks cool for the client. But trust me, I really can't read a brown text or a black background. So from next time, please have some contrast between the background and text. Please, for God's sake, or for the user's sake. And also, you also change the text in that, right? Can you please, any one of you here in the comment section or anywhere, if you are a designer, can you please name any font other than Times New Roman and Comic Sans? Can you please do that for me? Because everywhere I find designers, right? It's either Times New Roman for official websites or Comic Sans. You know what's a fun fact is? Comic Sans is the most hated font in the world. You can just go and Google yourself that. It's the most hated font, but I don't know why most of the people still use it. And finally, during prototyping and testing, right? What you do? Just go on to Wix or Squarespace.com, create an account, and just within 3 or 4 clicks, you can have your own template ready for the client. But here's the catch. You think you're smart, right? If the client comes back and asks you for some other modification which is not inbuilt in the template, you're done, dude, because you don't know coding. Most of the designers don't know coding, the background CSS and HTML coding. Then how can you do that? right? And now you need to go back to your friends who you go back to your CS friends who you abandoned because you're not so cool, because they're not so cool, and you have to ask their help for you to code your backend. I mean, really? Anyways, with a heavy heart, I'm gonna say this, guys. Please remember this: you are the first ones to get replaced by AI. And I think it's a very good idea. You better start driving cabs in Ola or Uber as a backup right now. That's all I can say right now. Please do that.
Oh dear God. I am a UX designer, and I myself feel roasted. I feel burnt and annihilated at my very core. Because that was a phenomenal grist, people. That was a phenomenal grist. UX people, I'd suggest you use Soframycin for them serious burns. It's more effective. I know I'm going to use it. And that is Mr. Leela Shankar for you, everyone. What an amazing grist. And even though this episode has been a real eye catcher right from the start, it is time to bid our speakers farewell. What an episode this has been truly. I'd like to extend my heartiest gratitude to both of them for their amazing journey and a bang smack grist. Thank you so much for being a part of ADS community with us. This will be an episode to remember for a long, long time to come. Not to mention, guys, follow us on our official social media channels to get the latest updates. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And just support this ever growing community with your love.